The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of Huddle Up here on October the 13th. We're glad you're with us. I'm sitting here in the boardroom with my man, the scoreboard guy, and the one and only Darren Archer. Fellas, how's it going today?
It's going well.
Good, yeah.
I tell you
The
what, for
leaves
me,
are turning and falling off the trees.
yes, they are. I'm just not going to rake them. I'm going to leave them there all. I'm going to leave them there through the winter and the spring, my friend, and then I'll mulch them up when I start cutting grass. You know, I'm just feeling a little bit back to normal today. The past couple of days has been hard on you, boy. I'm glad y'all checked in on me. I was feeling down and out. I don't really feel like we ever got started in the playoffs, and I'm talking about my St. Louis Cardinals, our St. Louis Cardinals guy. We got Darren on here who had a lot of fun at our expense this week, but the Cardinals just never got started, and that's where I want to pick up where we left off of from last time. DA, what did you see, brother? Let's talk about it. Cardinals go out, they bow out kind of wimply, 2-0 in a series to Philly. Bats never got going. We had chances, opportunities. Never came through. The big bats never came through. DA, what did you see, friend?
I saw a meltdown in the top of the ninth. I think that led to a sweep on the Phillies' part. Give Philadelphia credit. That wasn't a two-hit wonder. They came back, and 2 nights ago they opened up the division series and beat Atlanta at Atlanta. So I don't think that was really a fluke. But the one problem I saw, and this is an outsider looking in, was I saw what got Marmol hired and Schilt fired cost the Cardinals a game in the top of the ninth inning, that first game against Philly. And why I say that is I think everybody that was watching that game knew that he needed to get Helsley out. And he stuck with the numbers, and the analytics and the numbers, I think, got to him. They were showing dugout pictures, and you could see that the different coaches, bench coach, pitching coach, was kind of in his ear, and he would look down at his chart and come back up and just slightly shake his head no. And I just think he got caught up in analytics, and it cost him dearly.
Well, and I think you go back to pulling Quintana after 7-5 pitches. Yeah. I mean, you go back there, and then you knew Helsley was injured. And for you to ask him to get a 5-out save when he hadn't done that all season, and then just the implosion in the ninth there, I think you went to Helsley too early, and I think you went to the bullpen too early, and I just think he got out coached. And you go back to Schilt getting fired, a year ago after ending the season, winning 17 in a row. He gets fired. He had, in 3 years, a better winning percentage than La Russa, than Whitey Herzog, Red Shandings, and he still gets canned. Marmol, I think, he's got to be thinking that seat got a little warm there after that ninth inning in game one.
Don't you think Schilt lost his job because he was coaching more from the gut and the heart and the head than he was paying attention to analytics and the direction that they the front office wanted to take the ball club?
Yeah, I think that, and your hitting coach, the same thing that Matheny went through with not getting rid of his hitting coach, and he wasn't going to he wasn't going to replace Jeff Albert, and then Jeff Albert gets all the credit, down the stretch when they win those 17 in a row to end the season. Oh, they're starting to buy into Albert. Well, you're 150 games into the season. That's too late to do that. And I think, another thing you were so cold going into. Sticky Goldschmidt hit 245 in September and October, and you can't have that. That guy, he's not going to. I don't think he wins the MVP now, but there's just so many things that went wrong. Number one, he's out of Marmol had never been there. He's never been in a playoff game that's a completely different atmosphere.
I agree with you. I kind of felt that the Cardinals were going cold about a month ago. You remember me saying that on here. I said I think we're peaking way too early. I didn't like some of the younger kids. I didn't think they were really establishing themselves as primetime players. I think we kind of were riding the Pujols wave. There's a lot of emotion going into it, and I know Wayno was not happy not being on that bump, and so he displayed and he kind of said some things about it afterwards that he was not happy not being able to pitch. So you got some things. It was a great season. I mean, the Cardinals and what Pujols did and what the battery between Wainwright and Yachty. It's a memorable season, but I think it will be tainted and somewhat stained by going out the way we went out, and that's the sad part. But overall, I do think Marmol. I think he was in. I don't know if he's in over his head. I just think he needed the game experience. It wasn't his time. But what about Arenado and Goldsmith? You said something about Goldsmith, but Arenado, he had a lot of big moments. He didn't come through with DA. What do you think about him? What do you think? How's his offseason going to look?
It's going to be interesting. Is he going to be a Cardinal next year?
Right.
He has the opt out, and just with, I think in his heart he wants to be in St. Louis. I think he loves the atmosphere, loves the crowd. But you lose two players like Yachty and of course Pujols coming back and being a great inspiration in the clubhouse as well as out on the field. You just wonder where his head's lying. At this point in time, I think between he and Goldschmidt, they went 1 for 15 in both games, and man, you can't. I mean, that's your bread and butter right there. And when your butter's melted and your bread's molded, it's tough to have dinner. And they did not have a very good dinner.
I love some of the things you say. Just make. I don't know if I'm hungry right now or ready to go throw out some food in the back of the fridge. What do you think? What do you think, big fella? What do you think? You think he sticks around? What do you think? What do you think happens with Arenado?
Well, I think Arenado. I think he wants to win a ring. He's already got Hall of Fame numbers. He puts those kind of numbers up. I think he wants to win a ring. If you're going to do that, St. Louis is as good an option as he's got right now. I mean, he's not going to go to the Dodgers. I mean, they've got all the money in the world, but they're not going to pay him. And they've got a guy. And a lot of the teams that are playing right now, they're this ring. I mean, San Diego. I mean, they've come out of kind of nowhere, but they got Machado, at third, and I just don't think there's any place that he could go. Now the offseason may open up a spot, but I think he wants to be a Cardinal. And you play in front of those fans all year long. They always show up. They draw 3.5 million every year. You're going to play in front of people, and that's a big part of St. Louis. But I think he's a Cardinal next year.
I agree with you all. I tell you this: the Cardinals. I guess I'm ready to move past them to a certain extent. I'm just so disappointed. On a scale of 1 to 10, I want to ask you guys, what would you rate their season? I guess I would say a 7. I don't know if I could go past a 7. There's a lot of memorable things. I mean, but the ultimate goal was to win the championship. They gave us some thrills, but I didn't feel the connection to this team that I thought I would feel to a championship team. DA, what would you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 this season this year?
I think you got to split the two seasons apart. Regular season, 8 and 9. I mean, they did what they needed to all year down the stretch with a lot of injuries. Got some good trade acquisitions at the break, and really positioned themselves to make a good run. And let's be honest with ourselves. Hey, Dodgers, they're going. I mean,
machine.
It's offensively and pitching.
Yeah.
Nobody's touching them with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
And I mean, as an outsider, not a Cardinal hater, but not a Cardinal fan, I think they had a great regular season, complete meltdown. And that last inning, that top half of the ninth, it just rolled over into that next game and made it awfully tough. So I'll give that a 2.
as in you lost 2 games. Big man, big fella, jump in, Jerome. What are you seeing? What are you giving them, guy?
Well, I've got to go with 7. There were so many expectations that weren't met. I was so disappointed in Flaherty. That was something that You really felt like if he could come back and have that Cy Young type season that he's capable of talent-wise. But he just couldn't get healthy, couldn't stay healthy. And then, you got him in the bullpen with Helsley. There, had he been healthy at that point, they go to Flaherty in the top of the 8th with 1 out. They don't go to Helsley. They save him, but Flaherty was just so unpredictable. And I think that kind of just drug me down. With he and even Hudson to an extent. That just did not give you the type of season that, if they come out and they have good seasons, Cardinals probably win 100, and they're not playing in that game.
Right.
It'd been awful tough to catch the Mets and the Dodgers and the Braves, but and you look at the pitching part of it. Well, hell, the Mets they go 2-2, and they got DeGrom and Scherzer going in their first 2. So it's just it's unpredictable, and that's what the Cardinals were all season.
I like the 7 mark, DA. I like the 7 mark. I think we're just going to put a bow on this and just February will be here before you know it, and pitches and catches will be reporting in 10 days, and the buzz will start again. But it's just such a downer. It's hard to even watch baseball now, even though I do, but it's just a hard thing. But on the western side of the state, Kansas City Chiefs put on a heck of a performance, and we're going to go to break, and we're going to talk about the Chiefs' victory over their rivals, the Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders when we come right back. You're listening to Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network.
After a long day, a few simple words can make everything better.
Pizza's here!
To end your day the right way, count on the carry-out and delivery experts at your local Pizza Ranch.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Huddle Up inside the Pizza Ranch studios on the Missouri Sports Network. The gang is back. We're here for another segment. This time we're going to talk about the Chiefs. I got DA, scoreboard guy, also known as Big Fella. So we're going to talk about the Chiefs. They had a heck of a game on Monday night against their rivals, the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs pulled out. Exciting game. Some controversial calls, both from the coaches and the referees. Start with you, Big Fella. What did you see Monday that you liked about the Chiefs or that you loved about the Raiders?
Well, I don't like anything about the Raiders, so that's an easy one. The Chiefs, I thought they played, a really good game. Mahomes is, he's thrown touchdown passes to 12 different receivers this year. And Sky Moore is going to be a guy that's coming. He's on his way up. I really like what he's doing. I like what they're getting out of the running game. Questionable why Andy Reid goes for 2 there up 30-29. Or 30-23. I don't know that. I mean, he wants to go up 2 scores, but you also at the same time, then the Raiders come down and they got a chance to go for 2 and win it, and I don't mind that call. That's what you do on the road. It's at the end of the game. Let's go and end it right here. And they get a great call, a defensive call. They come up the middle. They stop them for the 2-point conversion. And calls, there were some pass interferences, and they were just a heinous roughing the passer, that goes back. And we've had back-to-back of those with Brady against the Atlanta Falcons. That was heinous. He almost just picked him up and set him down on the ground. Right. And in the case last night or Monday night with the Chiefs, Chris Jones ended up with the football. Should have been a fumble, and Chiefs ball, but they get it. They get the benefit of the call there, and it goes back to probably what happened with Tua Tagovailoa, where he gets that concussion. The refs start, hey, we're going to protect the quarterback. And if you go back to the Brady call, I think when that referee originally threw that flag, he was throwing it on Brady because Brady tried to kick the guy. I don't know if you saw that, but he lifted his foot up and tried to kick him. And I think the ref threw the flag at that and then realized it was Tom Brady on the ground. Now he's got to call something. So he calls, roughing the passer. And that turned the game. I mean, Tampa Bay wins that game because of that. And
Yeah.
And again, my apologies. My phone is ringing here on the air because I've
A
got it
little
plugged.
conspiracy. You're saying a little conspiracy theory here that Tom Brady, the flag was going to be on him, and then the referee said, "Oh, we can't call this on time, so we're going to call roughing the
How
pass."
many times you seen TB12 get
Oh,
that call?
you really hate Tom Brady, don't you?
Hey, when they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl in 2001, I have had disdain for the man ever since.
Oh, DA, the big fella's mad. He used the word heinous 2 times after he broke a record there. DA, I thought the Chiefs played fairly well. I don't see them pulling away from teams though this year. I think they're gonna have to drive, not necessarily dink and dunk, but control. They got a lot of ball control receivers. I just don't see the big explosive play, which I think they're gonna run into some problems with. What did you see on Monday, DA?
I really thought Las Vegas played a very, very good first half. That wasn't so much against the Chiefs not playing a good first half. Just the Las Vegas Raiders really played out of their minds. That was the second time that I've seen them play. I watched them the week earlier play against Denver, and they looked pretty good then too. I think that's a team that is getting better. They're a lot better than 1-4, and you take a look at that team and think, well, they're 1-4, they're not very good, but they may not be playoff good, but they're good enough to ruin somebody's chances to get to the playoffs. There's a lot of season left, so that first half, I really thought it wasn't so much Kansas City's downfall as it was just Las Vegas playing out of their minds. Second half, the defense kind of pinned their ears back, stepped up their game. And like what Guy said, man, there were some questionable calls, both by the officials and by the coaches. That kind of left me bewildered. It was like who can make the wildest call that night on both sidelines, and thank goodness for Kansas City. The coach at Las Vegas, I don't know what he was thinking when he made that one call, but my goodness, that had me scratching my head.
DA, he was heinously bewildered. That's what he was. To put some of your bigger words together, the man was heinously bewildered. Since we're going to use those words on the show tonight.
Look, yeah, he'd been spending too much time at the craps table. He was betting. He was betting, and that bet. No, that wasn't good.
You gotta get a feel for the game. I understand the analytical part of the game. I think the Chargers coach, and he's kind of losing I'm losing his name right now. He really took it to over the top. Look, if I'm down, if I know I got to stop him, I get it, go for 2, but I got to stop you anyway. So I'm going to tie it up to put a little bit of pressure on you. Now, if Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, if they do tie it up, if the Raiders tie it up, then Chiefs are going to have 4 downs. They're probably not. Their third down play is going to be a little bit different. Second down is going to be a little bit different, and they're going to play for that. They're not going to try to get the ball back. So it changed the whole dynamics of the game. Arrowhead was rocking. There was a couple calls, like you said, with the roughing the passer. That's just a bad referee. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to go really deep into it, but when you start getting 65-year-old men refereeing football with 20-year-old, 30-year-old athletic guys running around that field, it's hard. Even the call on Devontae Adams, without instant replay, I mean, how does that really look? I mean, yeah, I guess he did. There's an instant where he did bobble it, but there's also an instance where when he had that ball like 2 feet were in, then he did. I mean, it's just so much that goes on. I'm in for younger referees in the game just to get some of these older guys out of the way. But Chiefs got a big one against the Bills coming up. Hey, Josh Allen and crew coming in here, and they're going to mean business, guys. And I'm taking the Bills in that one. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills beat them by double digits.
Boy, Kansas City, that's saying something. But, yeah, you got Josh Allen coming in. And I'll just ask you guys a question. For the next 10 years, would you rather have Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback? I mean, that's what it comes down to. And the last 4 years, the playoffs have gone through Kansas City.
Flip a coin. If I flip a coin, I could give you an argument either way. I really, really did. That's one of the few arguments in my lifetime where I could really say flip a coin. If you ask me if I want Burger King and McDonald's, I say I don't care. I really want a Burger King. I'm a Burger King guy. I want some of that King, really, but I don't really care. You know, if you say, you want Popeyes or KFC, I'm a KFC guy. But I don't care. But when you say if you want Mahomes or Josh Allen, I really honestly could say, man, I don't either one. I'm winning. What do you say, DA?
Johnny wants Burger King so he can walk out of there with one of those crowns on his
One of those
head.
crowns. I need that hat,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
I need it.
The king, the king. I would have to preface my answer by asking Guy, is Andy Reid calling the plays for those 10 years?
Yeah, I will say, Andy Reid.
Give me Patrick Mahomes.
Mm.
I
Good
think
call.
Andy Reid has a lot to do. Now, I don't want to overhype this. I think Andy Reid is a genius at scheming offenses and developing offenses. I think he has really found, when he and the front office traded to get Patrick Mahomes, I think this is what he saw. When they trade to go up to get, and let's be serious. Patrick Mahomes was not necessarily a household name in college football because he played for Texas Tech.
Right.
They were 500 on the season, if even that. And so I would have to say, if Andy Reid is calling the plays, I'd have to go with Mahomes. Now, 50-50 on if it's just those two man-to-man. A lot of that depends on what they have surrounding them. And Josh Allen has a heck of a receiving core and a good balanced running attack. And that defense for Buffalo, when they decide to play, you can't score on them. It's going to be interesting this weekend.
Okay, DA, Burger King and McDonald's.
Oh, my. I'm going to have to say Burger King, because when I was coaching for 30 years, every road game, we had to stop at McDonald's. Buddy, I'm McDonald's out. No more. No, you know what? I used to get free meals when we brought the buses in. I got to the point where I didn't even eat. Nope.
That's good stuff. Good question, Guy. I guess you got to answer your own question, big fella. Who would you take?
Well, I got to take Mahomes. Josh Allen right now is probably better. But they're blowing out the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're calling quarterback run plays. He's going to get beat up. And he's not going to last 10 years. You go back and look at Cam Newton. 5 years ago, he's MVP. He just got beat up. Now he can't do anything. And I think if they don't start taking care of Josh, I know he's a big man. He's probably bigger than Cam Newton. But these are NFL players that are hitting you on every play. Mahomes doesn't go down very much. Not a lot of contact with Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to extend. Now, if you say 5 years or 4 years, I'm probably taking Josh Allen. But 10 years, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, because at the end of that 10 years, he's still going to be an MVP-type quarterback. And the way that Josh Allen's getting beat up now, he's leading the league in passing with 1,700 yards. But he's also leading the league in rushing by far, at the quarterback position. And that's just taking too many hits. So I'm going to take Mahomes if it's a 10-year stretch.
I love it. Great question, Guy. Guy, here's my question for you, big fella. KFC or Popeyes, my man?
KFC without a doubt.
Oh, my God. Guy, if I could just grab that little face of yours and kiss it right there. KFC. Got to have KFC, my friend. I'm with you on that. Hey, we're going to move on. In our next segment, we're going to talk about two teams that are struggling. And they're struggling mightily. And one of them is the Missouri State Bears, the other is the Mizzou Tigers. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network. Stay tuned.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a time like this, in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's a lot better now.
It was like a huge weight lifted.
Welcome back, everyone, to Huddle Up inside of the Pizza Ranch Studios on the Missouri Sports Network. Hey, we're going to talk about two struggling teams right now. The Missouri Tigers and the Missouri State Bears. Both are right now, they're trying to find their way, and the season's slowly slipping away. We have some predictions. We knew Mizzou was going to struggle this year, trying to get adjusted a little bit more to the new coaching style, and it's, I believe, the second or third year. But also we knew the conference they play in was gonna send them down some pathways against some teams that are pretty tough. Missouri State, we thought, could handle it. We thought they were ready to go. We thought they were primed for a breakout year, even a national championship run. That right now seems to have not just been slipping away, but quite possibly has slipped away. Let's start with the Tigers up in Columbia, where they gave the Florida Gators a fight, but come up short 24-17. Guy, what do you think about that, DA? What do you guys think about the Tigers and what they put out there on the field against the Florida Gators?
Well, I think they're building off of what they did against Georgia. I mean, to do that and to go to Florida, be down 10-0 that game, come back and score 10 in the second quarter late to tie that up going in at half. And you look at every aspect of the game, they outgained them, yardage by almost 100 yards. They had the time possession, by I think 13 minutes more time possession. They ran 26 more plays. They turned the ball over twice through two interceptions. Their young quarterback, Brady Cook, did not look good. Maybe the moment was too big, but Florida turned the ball over. They fumbled once and threw an interception. So they turned it over twice as well. So all the statistics come back, in the Tigers' favor. And yet they just can't overcome it. And they get beat 24-17 to stay within a touchdown. Now, obviously, Florida's not ranked. They're 4-2 on the season. Mizzou now drops to 2-4. But I think overall, the steps are starting to come. As you look at Drinkwitz' last two recruiting classes that he's been able to put in there with the NILs, and he gets Luther Burden out of St. Louis, number one kid in the country. He's going to stay. It's those kids. You got to give a guy 4 years when he steps into an NCAA program, just so he can get his recruits through. And I think early in the season, I thought, oh man, he's not going to make it through the season. But I think they're making big enough steps right now that they may get a win here down the road. I think they've got Vanderbilt left, so they're going to get a win.
Don't overlook Vandy.
Yeah,
they're not. I mean, that's not one they can just hang their hat on and say, "Yep, chalk that one up as a W." But I will say this: the one area that I've saw vast improvement in over the last 3 or 4 weeks is the defense. Ever since the Georgia game, and I started to notice it some in the Auburn game that they lost in overtime. That defense is starting to pin their ears back and play with a little urgency. I felt like the first 3 games of the year, they really didn't have an identity. The offense was young and trying to find their way, but the defense really didn't have an identity. And there's one thing, you can fix the offense by just playing out experience, getting on the field and getting reps and getting that in-game experience. But when you don't have an identity as a group, not everybody seems like they're on the same page, that's tough to overcome, but they have and have overcome that in a big way. I still think I think there's going to be a little bit of a quarterback controversy before it's all said and done. Brady Cook is doing as well as he can with the experience that he has. He's got some very good pieces around him. The running game has really shown out nice the past few games, and they've got a good receiving core. I think it all kind of circles back to Brady Cook. And in watching that game, it comes back to it's same story, different verse. Mizzou shot themselves in the foot. Cook throws a pick six. That's the difference in the ball game right there. So, like I said, if they can just get over that hump, you have to think, okay, they win that overtime against Auburn. Gives them a little momentum and maybe picking up a road win they shouldn't have. They're able to carry that in-game experience of winning a close one in overtime to finish the game out at Georgia. Hey, now they're on a roll, playing with some confidence, playing with their chest stuck out a little bit, and be able to go into Florida and not throw the pick six, get a stop, and put the ball in pay dirt. That's a totally different season if you think about it. That's how close things are. So I'm really impressed with the defense. They're pinning their ears back. They're playing with a sense of urgency. They're flying around the field. They look good at all three levels: on the line, linebacker core, and then of course D-backs. And well, if they can just keep that momentum up, stay healthy, and stay positive, that's tough to do when you're getting beat. So hopefully they can keep that train rolling.
That's very tough to do when you're getting beaten. That leads me right into Missouri State. That train, as you said, keep it rolling. I told you a long time ago, hey, I'm a Bear, but I'm not on that train. I just didn't see it. And so right now, I'm in the refund line getting my money back. While y'all sitting there, y'all stuck on the train. I tried to tell you, look, I say that tongue in cheek. It hurts my heart to see how we lost to Southern Illinois. Now, everyone knew SIU was going to be pretty good because you saw them just beat a Big Ten team a couple weeks earlier. So you figured they're going to be a stable team, formidable in all aspects of the game. I didn't see them putting up almost 50 on us. It hurts. What can we do to fix it? Is it fixable? The season's done. Where do we go from here, DA? Where do we go from here?
Gosh, hey, I'm one that bought that ticket, and I was probably first in line. This late summer when we had the chance to go watch them play, and we were really excited. We cover the whole state of Missouri, but we were pretty excited about Missouri State, not only because they're down here where we live, but because we really thought, hey, they got a chance to go represent our state on a national level. And in that Arkansas game, you think, yep, this is what we thought. But man, ever since then, it's just a train off the tracks. Now, we'll say this: I sold my ticket coming back, and I'm jumping on the Southeast Missouri State train. Hey, they're 5-1, ranked 21, and their only loss has come to Iowa State. Yeah, so they play in the Ohio Valley Conference, and they may run the course in the OVC. So don't sleep on Southeast Missouri State. They got a pretty good ball club, and they're quietly making some noise down in the Boot Hill.
So I guess if you jumped off the Bears train, now you're on South. I guess you're rooting for the Phillies too. I guess you just got trained. You trained jumping all over the place.
All over the place, baby.
Shout out to Bob Klinkenbeard. His son is getting reps down there at Southeast Missouri State. He's a Glendale product. I'm glad to hear that. A big fella, the Bears just came out flat, didn't have it. In a nutshell, wrap it up for us. What's wrong?
Well, it's just their offensive line. They're just not getting good offensive line play. And if you're going to play at the next level, and I mean next level as far as, postseason championship level, you've got to have guys up front. And, you look back coming into the season, you got 4 or 5 returners, and you think that's good news. Well, the bad news is you got 4 or 5 returning starters on the offensive line. You didn't go out and you didn't upgrade there. You didn't go out and get someone pull someone out of the portal there, and now you got your quarterback running for his life, and he just doesn't have time to throw the ball. And you go back into that first quarter against SIU, it's 14-0. You're outgaining them 117 yards to 20, and you're running the football. Then you go for it on 4th and 2 at midfield, you don't get it, and then you give up 38 unanswered points. And now you're down 38-14, and I know what coach is thinking there. It's like, hey, we got them down. We got their foot on the throat. Let's put them away. And just unable to get that pass completion. Had the right route called. had the right play called for the defensive setup that they had, just overthrows them. And they can't now. They're going to have to run the table and hope somebody else gets beat if they're going to have a chance at at getting into getting into the postseason.
Definitely an outside chance, but we're still rooting for our two state teams, all of our state teams, even Southeast, Northeast, Northwest, and all our teams that we root for. Those teams are traditional powerhouses. Fellas, hopefully they'll get back on. The Bears got a bye week. Hopefully they get back on track once they come back later on this month. Hey, we're going to close up the segment next segment with the high school sports wrap up, and then we're going to talk about a little bit about what's on your mind. What are you thinking? Are you listening to the Missouri Sports Network here? Listen to Huddle Up on the Missouri Sports Network. Be right back.
Only Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request your favorite pizza. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the first slice.
I can add peppers to pepperoni, Stampede on stuffed crust, maybe Texan taco on thin. No tomatoes on my half. How can I convince Mom to let us eat here every night?
It's buffet your way at Pizza Ranch. Say it with me, kid.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Huddle Up here in the Pizza Ranch studio on the Missouri Sports Network. Hey, we're going to wrap up today's show. We're going to talk about some high school sports. A lot is going on the high school football scene around the area and the state. Great games, great matchups. It's winding down. Teams are making their run for that final push when the playoffs start here. Some exciting things going on, guys. DA, Guy, let's start off up in the Kansas City area, Guy. What's going on up that way with Ray-Pec? I heard they got a big game against a pretty highly touted team up there.
Yeah, they do. They've got Liberty North. Liberty North is ranked number 1 in the state right now. They're currently undefeated, and they're playing awfully well. And they're opposite a district of Nixa, Kickapoo, and Ozark. They're in that, Nixa, Kickapoo, and Ozark's in with Ray-Pec. Liberty North is in another district, and they're the 1 seed there. That district, I believe, goes over and plays in the St. Louis area, when they cross over. So an opportunity there to see where Ray-Pec's kind of at. Ray-Pec ended Nix's season last year before going on and winning the state title, or maybe that was 2 years ago. But Ray-Pec's been traditionally, they are just so good. And then down here in the local area, probably the best game to be at will be that Lebanon Camden game, that Highway 5 matchup. Huge rivalry. Both teams are undefeated, 7-0 on the season. This is going to determine, who most likely will win that conference, the Ozark Conference. Then you've got a good game going on in the city at Springfield with Kickapoo and Glendale meeting up. Another great rivalry there. And then you've got Nixa and the Ozark Conference are going to Republic. This may be a game that, maybe Nixa overlooks a little bit because they've already beaten, the likes of Joplin, Carthage, and Webb City. Maybe they relaxed, but Republic's playing really well. And that's a game, here locally you want to keep an eye on. I know DA's got games featuring a lot of matchups that are among state-ranked teams.
Yeah, and you can find those games on our Twitter account, Missouri_sports, under hashtag Who You Got. And this is a weekly segment that we put up and run a poll. And we want to know who you got each of these state-ranked matchups. In 8-man football, number 1, North Andrew takes on number 5, Worth County. North Andrew is undefeated. Worth County is 6-1. And also in 8-man football, number 3, Albany, 6-1, will play number 10, King City. And number 7, Oric, who is 7-0, will play receiving votes, North Shelby, who is 6-1. In 11-man football, Class 1, number 10, Cole Camp, who is 6-1, will take on Class 1, number 8, Adrian, who is also 6-1. Big matchup up north in the northeastern part of the state. Class 2, number 8, Macon, who is undefeated, 7-0 on the season, will play at Class 1, number 1, Monroe City, who is also undefeated on the season. Gentlemen, something's got to give. Class 1, number 2, East Buchanan, who was 7-0, is at Class 1, number 3, Mid Buchanan. Backdoor rivalry, once again, 2 undefeated teams. Something's got to give. Class 1, number 5, at 7-0, is Gallatin, is at Class 2, number 10, Trenton, who is also, you got it, 7-0. So something's got to give.
Got to give.
You betcha. Class 4, number 9, Vashon will play, who is 4-2, will play at Class 2 receiving votes, Live for Life, who are 5-2 on a Saturday game matchup. Class 4, number 4, Kansas City Center, who is undefeated, really sneaking up in the ranks in that Class 4. They're a team to watch down the stretch. They play at Class 3, number 2, Pleasant Hill, who's also 7-0. Johnny?
Something's got to give, my friend.
Something's got to give. You betcha. Class 3, number 8, Maryville, 4-3, will be at Class 3, number 7, Savannah, at 7-0. Class 5, big-time matchup, guy I just talked about. Class 5, number 3, Lebanon, who is 7-0, is at Class 5, number 4, Camdenton, who is also 7-0. Guy?
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
Bring it home, Jerome.
Man, somebody fell asleep on the assignment. Class 6, number 5, Joplin, is 6-1, at Class 5, number 1, Carthage, also 6-1. Class 5 receiving votes, Jackson, who's 5-2, is at Class 5, number 5, Holt, 6-1. And last but certainly not least, a game guy talked about at the beginning of his segment, Class 6, number 1, Liberty North, awfully good program, awfully good team, is at Class 6, number 9, Ray Peck, who sits at 5-2. Lots of good matchups this weekend.
Lots of great matchups. This is time the leaves are turning, the weather's turning. You get your hot chocolate. You sit there, you get the chance to watch some good old high school football. Doesn't get any better than that, gentlemen. Appreciate for the updates there. Hey, we're going to close it out with what's on your mind, and we're just going to do one quick. Just do a quick little round here because my mind is all over the place with the Cardinals losing. But right now, I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to tell you guys something right now. That it is that time of the year, my friend. We are ready to rock and roll. We're ready to get it to hit the ice. The boys, the winter boys are back. 3 humps, hump, followed by Let's Go Blues. That's what's on my mind. What do you guys got for me?
Go ahead, Darren.
DA?
Oh, I'm sorry. Man, I can't beat that one, Johnny.
Yeah, you can't.
You covered it. You covered it. I'm looking forward to some hockey. It's ready. It's that time of year, isn't it? I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm looking forward to the rest of the playoffs, especially now that the Cardinals are out of it. It's gonna be tough for somebody to put. I see a Dodgers Astros World Series. Dodgers winning 5. Mark it down. Mark it down.
Dodgers in 5, 4-1, huh? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. I hear you.
Hey, well,
Big fella, Jerome, bring us home.
Well, I'm looking forward just to the high school postseason here. We've got district softball has begun this week, and you've got district volleyball around the corner. Lots of senior nights, lots of homecomings coming up, and a lot of these seniors are going to play their last game, at the high school level, and it's kind of win or go home right now. And the football programs, they're jockeying for that as high a seed as they can get because it's all a formula now, and they want to play at least one more home game. They need to get in that top of their district to be able to play that. And then you've got teams like Anixa who would benefit, being that one seed in their district. It's a tough Class 6 district. If you're the one seed, everybody's got to come to you. And so looking forward to that. And another thing that really is on my mind and a lot of people's mind here in Southwest Missouri is keep the Art Haynes family in your thoughts and prayers. I know there's been a GoFundMe account set up. Art on Thursday has been moved to Lincoln, Nebraska, which is one of the best facilities in the country to deal with the ailment that he has. And but it could be 6 months, it could be a year before he's up and around again. But and that GoFundMe account is to take care of because his wife is going to want to stay with him. So if I don't care if it's $1 or $5 or whatever, all you got to do is go to GoFundMe.com and just search Art Haynes, and you'll see his picture pop up. And the goal is $250,000, and they've already in 4 days have raised $62,000.
Wow.
So that's just how well Art Haynes is thought of here, not only locally here, but even at a national level with what he does for the Chiefs. But hey, before you put your head on your pillow tonight, put your knees on the floor and lift Art Haynes and his family up to the good Lord.
Well said. Well said. Good. We all wish Art speedy recovery, and thanks for the update, guy. Hey, gentlemen, it's been a good segment. For those of you out there in La La Land, thank you for listening to the Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network. We'll be back next week talking about the hot topics around the area, the state, and on our national scene. Be safe, be well, and take care.